call hello Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Bakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. Salutations to you brothers in the highways and byways. Salutations also goes out to you brothers and few sisters that tune in to listen, to learn, the rest of the hopeful elect. To you all I say Shalom. I'm the brother Malak from the Diligent Soldier Camp here in Boston, Mass. As always, I pray this lesson be edifying to the elect. Alright, the name of this one is going to be In Transit. This place is nothing but confusion. And in parentheses, Babylon. Alright, so it's an in transit lesson. So I'm on the road and I will entitle it, This Place is Nothing But Confusion. And in parentheses, Babylon. Alright. You should know by now exactly what location we're talking about as far as the prophetic Babylon, right? The place of future destruction, man. Okay, where we reside right now, where most of the Israelites in captivity are, man. You know, and so yeah, man. You know, I have an article, or not even an article. I looked up what you gonna call these people, this group. It's called the Sovereign Citizen Movement. I looked them up in Wikipedia, you know, and I forget exactly how I got to that. All I know is that as I was reading it, you know, I said, man, this fucking place is total confusion, man, because, you know, and I'll get to that, but first I want to bring out these scriptures and get to that article. I mean, not really an article, but Wikipedia, and bring out a few more scriptures and, you know, wrap it up. And it's not really supposed to be a long one, man. Just pointing out the confusion, man, and the fact that we got to get the fuck out of here because of that confusion, man. You know, it's gonna come to naught, man. It's all of man, so it's gonna definitely come to naught. So we got to come up out of her now, man, so we won't receive the consequences of all her actions, man. You know what I mean? Which is all the sins, all the iniquity. You know what I mean? That this bitch keeps pumping out, man. You know. So without further ado, let me just get this scripture to start it off. This is the book of Baruch. This is the book of Baruch, chapter 3, verse 8. It says, "Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity." Okay, you can look up Deuteronomy 28:68 for reference or for precept. "Where thou hast scattered us," you can look up Deuteronomy 28:64 for that one. "For a reproach and a curse," you can look up Jeremiah 24:9 for that one. "And to be subject to payments." Okay, to be subject to payments. Okay, this is a part of the curses, man. All right, this actually also cuts that whole, you know, us being fully in the new covenant, man. Because how are we in the new covenant and also making payments to the people that we are captives to, man? It just, you know, it don't make too much sense, man. You know. Anyway, back to this topic at hand, man. This place is nothing but confusion, man, because you have people nowadays on social media. Oh, man, I ran into people because I drive for a living, man. I'm a driver, and I meet a lot of people, and, you know, I've met Jakes in particular always telling me and talking to me about the straw man and how, you know, if your name's in all caps, how, you know, this place uses your straw man and it's another you, and it's, and, you know, you're subject to these, taxes and tickets and you know, statutes that got to be paid off, basically. And so their argument is that we don't need to be doing this, and they get that from the sovereign citizen movement, which is why I got into it, man. I was just scrolling and I saw this, I clicked on it, and as I'm reading, I'm like, man, no wonder people are fucking confused, man. And you still got Jakes over here pushing this shit as if it's something that they could use to circumvent the law of the fucking land, bro, that we're subject to, that we're in captivity to, man. You know, for a fucking reproach and a curse, man. you know. And as the scripture keeps going, it says, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed. Another word for departed is also deviated from the Lord, our power, man. Okay? Exodus 20 and 3. Or in Exodus 20, you can start reading about that, man. But Exodus 20 and 3, he tells you that he's the only God, basically, that you should be worshiping, man. And he's a jealous God, you know. But to this day, you know, or even now in modern days, I would say, right, our people look at Esau as their God. Our people look at Esau's technology as their God. You know what I mean? That's what they idolize, man. His money with his name printed all over it. And then you got backward ass niggas talk about, you know, we in the new covenant fully and everything, you know, like shit don't make sense. Wars all over the fucking place. It's tiny hats running amok in the whole fucking world, still being accused all over the place. But some of them can make it though, right? Because some of them believe in total bullshit, man, you know. So let's go real quick and read up on the sovereign, what is it? The sovereign citizen movement. The sovereign citizen movement, right? Or also known as SovCits, is a loose group, and this is according to Wikipedia, right? Is a loose group of anti-government activists. Check that out, right? And these people, our people, are all up in this shit, right? Is a loose group of anti-government activists, conspiracy T-words, vexatious litigants, tax protesters, and financial scammers found mainly in English-speaking common law countries, right? The United States, Canada, Australia, the United Kingdom, and New Zealand. All right. Sovereign citizens have a pseudo legal belief system based on misinterpretations of common law, and claim not to be subject to any government statutes unless they consent to them. Now, what is common law? Right quick, common law is common law, also known as judicial precedent, judge-made law, or case law, is the body of law primarily developed through judicial decisions rather than statutes, right? So they're not written, right? But it's like known. It's known. So from past experience, what determines what goes in a courtroom with these calibrations, I guess, or elements or things that are going on. What determines those decisions by those judges is the past, like the history and facts that were presented in previous cases. You know what I'm saying? So in other words, they used the things that happen in other cases to determine new cases that they get, man. And you know, and it goes on to explain this. It says although common law may incorporate certain statutes, it is legally based on precedent, judicial rulings made in previous similar cases. Okay, so that's common law. So you got Jakes thinking that because of that, or they're convinced by other people that because of common law, they and certain things that go on in certain cases, they have those liberties because of the outcomes of these certain cases. This is actually where it all comes from, and you could go furthermore into it to really like get a real feel for the whole thing. But this is like the gist of it, man. All right. So back in the sovereign citizen movement, when let me see, where is it? Where was I? New Zealand sovereign citizens have pseudo belief system based on misinterpretations of common law and claim not to be subject to any government statutes unless they consent to them, right? The movement appeared in the U.S. in the early 70s and has since expanded to other countries. The similar Freeman on the land movement emerged during the 2000s in Canada before spreading to other Commonwealth countries. Sovereign citizens' ideas have also been incorporated by other fringe movements, right, outskirts and the edge, in the United States and abroad, such as the Rich Burgers Right Burgers in Germany and Austria. The FBI. Now this is the point of all this, right? Because this is the confusion part. You thinking you're doing this because you're right. You know what I mean? And your latter end is, well, in this case, is fucking jail time, man. Okay? The FBI, and this is, this is through the spirit, man, that I happen to, like, going through different articles and stuff, and then, the Lord bringing back to my remembrance this particular subject, you know what I mean? Because I was interested in it, because I was like, damn, we got to make payments and shit that we don't have to, and these niggas is making us do it, you know what I mean? But it's easier for you, man. He finds ways to fucking rob you, you know what I mean? And leave you butt-ass naked. Anyways, the FBI, it says here, the FBI has called sovereign citizens, right, anti-government extremists, who believe that even though they physically reside in this country, they are separate or sovereign from the United States. So your brown ass, your Israelite ass out there pushing this bullshit, you know what I mean? And you just confusing, you just deceived yourself, man, for leaning on your own understanding. And they're not even getting correct understanding. And call hello Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. I got a Mercedes-Benz, what is it called? Cutting off the car in front of me, and it says 144 in the back, man. You know what I mean? This is not our rest, man. This is not our rest. We're yet in our captivity, man, to this day. To this day, And it's crazy that the Fed's been called, sovereign citizens, that, man, anti-government extremists, and as we keep reading, you'll see what else they calling them, man. All right, that's tie in with this new executive order. You know what I mean? It's not far-fetched that this new executive order that Trumpito has signed, man, goes along with this. You know what I mean? Or this is speaking of it, man. Well, and you'll see why, right? As I keep reading, it says, the sovereign citizen phenomenon is the main contemporary source of pseudo-law, right? So the government don't even recognize all this bullshit, man. Okay? Y'all could talk a good one and present paperwork and signatures and fucking, paperwork from the past as they do. You know what I mean? Precedent, I think this is what they call it. President is what they call it. Precedent. All right? Because they use previous situations to determine new cases, man. Okay, sorry about that. I got a phone call, and then it had to pull over and get this started, situated again. But yeah, man. I think I was saying something along the lines like, Jake just can't. Especially Jake, these people are doing it, but especially Jake just can't be pulling out these old cases and thinking it's gonna work for them, man. Back in that article though, or Wikipedia, the sovereign citizen phenomenon is the main contemporary source of the pseudo law. Sovereign citizens believe that courts have no jurisdictions over people, and that certain procedures and loopholes can make one immune to government laws and regulations, and that's bullshit. Especially for you Jakes, we're subjected to this, man. All right, and I'll get it again. If anything, it's in Baruch, man. It tells you, right? Hold on. It tells you, behold, we are yet in this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our power, man. Okay, this is what we did, and because of that, we're subject to payments. And I know I keep saying it, but it's like, we're in Babylon. We know this is Babylon. So why are people acting or pretending like they could use the same bullshit or what they call here pseudo laws that Esau uses and doesn't get away with it? But then you got Jake, because they tie in the whole Moors thing and the whole Moors movement and what the Moors did back in the day and their flag and what it means and all this shit. And people, you can still look up and see and read about all the people that get locked up for tax evasion and for not paying their tickets, not giving their license, because they over here talk about they don't need to give a license and put license plates and all this shit. Like you're driving in state-owned highways that you have to pay tolls. Like what the fuck you talk about? You don't have to show up a license, show a license, man. What do you think them state troopers is there set up for, man? Let me see. The regard most forms of taxation and illegitimate and reject social security numbers, driver's license, and vehicle registrations. The movement, and that's so crazy, right? Because the word registration goes into abandonment when it goes to when you're talking law, right, or the law language. And so when you go register your car, you're basically abandoning your car. You know what I mean? And this is why if police officers want to, what they call, I forget the word, but they could like take your car and use it to pursue people or for whatever fucking reasons. And you can't, you have to give it up. You know, you're subjected to, you could get locked up if you don't comply. You know what I mean? And there's a whole fucking law for not giving them that car because that fucking car belongs to them. Just like you've registered your child when they're born. A lot of people think that we own our children, and that's not the case. This is why they have CPS set up and all their fucked up laws, you know, that makes them really crazy and corrupted, you know, and other laws, man, that are set up to basically override the what the parents say, basically, man. Okay. But you walk around thinking that you do have or autonomy over yourself or even your children, and that's just not the case, man. This is why I entitled it Babylon, man. This place is nothing but confusion. You think you know something, but you really don't. You know what I'm saying? So finish that off. Let me go to the last, because it's a little read, but it's pretty interesting, man. Let me see. Okay, is it here or one before? Let me see. Many have been found guilty of offenses such as tax evasion, hostile possession, forgery, threatening public officials. You can catch that forgery case with you know, you making your own fucking homemade license plate. This is what these people do over here, bro. This fucking shit is crazy. Two of the most important crackdowns by U.S. authorities on sovereign citizens organizations were in 1996, case of Montana Freeman, 2018, sentencing of proclaimed Judge Bruce Doucette and his associates because some have engaged in armed confrontations with law enforcement. The FBI classifies sovereign citizens extremists. Okay? They classify you as extremists, as domestic T-words. It says it right here. I'll put the damn link. Terry Nichols, one of the perpetrators of the 95 Oklahoma City BOMB, subscribe to sovereign citizens ideology. Okay, and this is known by the Fed. So here it is. You don't think like that, man, but you're tied into to them with the things that you think are right. Okay, this is why you got to know what you're getting into when you come into this walk of ours, man, and this truth, man. You have to understand what you're getting into, man. This is life or death, bro. Okay, because they're gonna tie us all up in this, man. In surveys conducted 2014-2015, representatives of U.S. law enforcement ranked the risk of terrorism from the sovereign citizen movement higher than the risk from any other group. This is back in 2014. This is just goddamn 9 years ago, man. We're about to be in 2026, so 11 years ago, bro. Okay? This is not too too long ago, man. And then you got this dude, man, listen, let me see. Now, 2015, Australian New South Wales police force identified sovereign citizens as a potential T-word threat, all right? So you got Wales categorizing these people like that, and you got the feds over here categorizing. In Europe, they mother over there also with that shit, you know. You can even talk about Europe. They want you, even if you're over here in America, you say some shit about them over there. They want to be able to fucking basically have you go over there and get and serve time over there, man. All right, and then you have this counter domestic terrorism and organized political violence presidential actions, man. Okay, a whole executive order. You know, going after the people that are anti-government, anti-American, and anti-anything and everything that they think you shouldn't be anti of, man. This nigga wrote in that executive law, man. Okay, so you know, and I got that from the brother, from the elder Amawan, GMS Awakening. You know what I'm saying? He made that, and then just like me scrolling through these web pages, and then I click on the whole sovereign citizen movement thing, and I'm like, man, these things, this is no coincidence, man. Through the spirit, we all being led to read up and report on the same things, man. Okay, so you know, I'll end it off with this last two scriptures. Matthew 5:25. It says, "Agree with thine adversary quickly, while thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be thrown right into prison." Okay, this is what happens when you think you know it, and then they got laws that will still get your ass locked up and thrown into prison for X amount of time, because they got it like that, man. All right, and then I'll leave you with Romans 13. Okay, because this is why we got to get the fuck up out of here, because you got Jakes thinking that they're able to walk around freely with no type of fucking problems, and that's just not the case, man. Okay, that's just not the case, and you know, I'm tired of hearing it, man. This place is not for us, man, and we cannot fix this place, man. Okay, it's prophesied, man. It was a golden cup. That was a shitty cup, okay? And the Lord's about to burn this shit away. You can't even throw that cup out. You got to burn that motherfucker away, bro. All right, this is Romans 13:1. It says, let every soul be subject, right, under the rule, subject unto the high powers, unto the higher power. For there is no power but of God. The power that be are ordained of God. Whosoever therefore resisted the power, resisted the ordinance of God. And what do the police say that was their slogan? What is it? Peace and safety, or order and safety? Something like that. Something with order. You know what I mean? Law and order. There we go. Law and order. You know what I'm saying? Where you think that comes from, man? If the Lord didn't set this up, this fucking place would be total chaos, man. He had to set up some minimal ordinance, man, because it will be just completely fucked, man. You know? Whosoever therefore resisted the power, resisted the ordinance of God, and they that resist it shall receive to themselves damnation. All right, you're gonna get locked up, man, for thinking that you could resist the powers that are set up by the Lord, man. For rulers, right, the powers that are set up for rulers are not a terror to good works. If you're doing good, you don't got to worry about nothing. You're following the laws of the land, doing what you got to do, as long as it doesn't. As long as it doesn't break any of the laws of the Lord, then you should be straight, right? For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Without then not be afraid of the power. You ain't going to be afraid of the powers that the Lord set up. Do that which is, and not be afraid in the sense like, you know, you walking around in eggshells, but you do what you got to do without breaking no fucking laws, man. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, the only person, or the only one we should be fearing is Yahweh B'Ashem Yahushua, man. You know what I'm saying? But these powers are set up by the Lord. So yes, fear the Lord. Fearing the Lord, you'll fear to go off, so you won't disrespect. You won't break the laws of the land. You won't be walking around here talking about you need to be, you know, you're not subject to the laws of the land, because come on, man, get the fuck out of here. Your descendants are here because they brought them over here. Simeonites speak Spanish because Spaniards fucked them all up. There's a huge fucking scandal going on right now with $13 billion was just like taken or stolen from some people. And I know Simeon is not the only one in there. I know you got Esau in there wetting his beak, man. If not his whole fucking face. And Simeon is wetting their beaks. You know what I mean? But anyways, whosoever resisted the powers, resisted the ordinance of God, and they that resisted shall receive to themselves damnation. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Without thou then now be afraid of the power? Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. Okay? For he is the minister of God to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain. For he is the minister of God, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that does evil, man. So you better follow the damn laws of the land, bro. All right? Stop playing yourself, man. Because you only playing yourself, and then others following you will also play themselves, man. You know? Yeah, you jakes that are in this truth and either half-stepping or believe this truth, but still think that you could kind of get away, circumvent certain things that are set up here in this land, man, you sadly mistaken, man. You know what I mean? Pick a side, man, and stick with it, man. All right? Koholo Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakakwadash. I pray that this lesson was edifying. All right? Salutations to, I want to give double honor, Salakia, to the apostles of GMS who teach and rule well. Salutations goes out to you brothers in the highways and byways and hedges, man. May the Lord guide and protect you, brothers. Keep that fire burning inside of you, man. And salutations also goes out to you brothers and few sisters that tune in to listen and learn, man. To you all, I say shalom, a Bible ball to this place, and Kwam Yasharala, man. Shalom.